Good afternoon. I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News, coming to you from our digital desk. We're about to take you down live to Columbus. The Ohio Governor Mike DeWine has just announced that he has been talking with Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Of course, that horrific flash flooding that has killed more than 80 people, and there are dozens and dozens of people still missing. They obviously need help in Texas. And the governor is going to deliver on some of that help. They're actually going to send 20 Ohio State Highway Patrol troopers from the OSHP's Mobile Field Force Unit. They are going to be headed down literally in the next hour or so. They're going to start the drive down to Texas. Not only Ohio State troopers, but then also canines and their handlers from the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. We're watching the Ohio State Highway Patrol trooper. This will be Patrol Major David Brown. He is part of that mobile task force and is going to walk us through what they're going to be doing, what their operations will be. They're expected to be there for about a week down in Texas, and this is, of course, because of the Guadalupe River that just rose an insurmountable amount of feet in the course of about 45 minutes. Unfortunately, it's the flash flood responsible for destroying that Christian youth camp, and unfortunately several of the children in that area also passed away and are still missing. So this contingent from the state of Ohio is headed down, not only troopers, but the Ohio Department of Natural Resources sending down canines and handlers. Those canines are trained to support search, rescue, and recovery. Let's take you to the interview now as it looks like they're getting underway.
The Office of Field Operations for the Ohio State Highway Patrol.
What is your title with the team?
I am basically our officer in charge. Since I oversee the Office of Field Operations, I oversee any operational detail that is in-state or any deployments of an operational capacity out of state.
Do you have a briefing for us, or is this just open for questions?
We have a few talking points I can get from. Do you want me to go over just the general overview and then just open up for questions? Is that good? Okay. All right. So the Ohio State Highway Patrol has been asked to deploy to assist with search and recovery operations in the state of Texas. First and foremost, we want to extend our hearts and minds to the citizens of Texas. To heartbreaking tragedy out there. What our purpose is in this is to deploy resources to assist in the rescue and recovery operations, to assist with traffic control as needed, and to provide humanitarian aid wherever we can do so. And I think it's important to note that even though that there's a community in need that isn't in Ohio, it's the culture that we have in the Highway Patrol is to put service above self and go down and help where we see people that are in need.
What does it mean to you as a team to be able to go and help people who need it so much?
I think for us, it makes me incredibly proud to know the caliber of troopers that we have here in Ohio that are willing to put their lives on hold to go help those that are in need, regardless of the situation. We've asked them to step away from their families, childcare, things like that. When we put the request out to our troopers, we had the complete roster filled up within 2 hours, and that was late last night that this request came in.
How many people are you sending, and what is the initial plan when they arrive there?
So we're in constant communication with the Department of Public Safety for Texas, as well as the Texas Rangers. We're sending a contingency of 20 uniformed officers, and we will be in constant communication to see where we are needed. Right now, we are going to be assisting with the search and recovery operations with Texas Department of Public Safety and the Texas Rangers.
Does that mean actually like out searching in the debris and maybe out on boats and things like that, or how that go about?
Sure. Most likely we're going to be searching a river basin. That's tentatively what our plan is. Understand that they're getting a lot of resources thrown at them at the moment, so we're going to be flexible and adaptable to what their needs are. But tentatively that is our plan to go and help with those search operations through the river basin.
There are heartbreaking photos and videos on social media. When you see the images of what families are dealing with and what you'll be arriving to, what goes through your mind?
Again, it's you said it best. It's a heartbreaking scenario. We want to be able to help. at the end of the day, we're there to provide comfort, and sometimes that's giving people the answers that they're looking for. Obviously, we're hoping that it's more of a search mission rather than recovery. I want to be very careful on how we use the word recovery because it is still a search operation at this point. And however we can assist, whatever that means, and whatever our state and federal partners in Texas need us to do, that's what we'll rise to that occasion and handle.
How often does your bureau get sent on out-of-state assignments, and what was it about this one that you were needed?
So there's various mechanisms in which we are requested to provide assistance. A lot of security details, which we don't really talk about those a whole lot for security reasons, but if there's an emergency situation or a disaster area, those can be requested through an emergency management agreement.
You were talking about helping your brother officers, your fellow Americans down there. Tell me about that. You're lending a hand when it's needed. What does that feel like?
I think we take with great reverence on the job that we are called upon to do, and it's not something that's lost on us as an agency of the importance of the work that needs to be done down there. But again, I can't state enough how much we feel the pain of the nation that when we watch this unfold in the news every night, that we just want to be able to go and help in whatever capacity that is, and that we are physically able to do. We will be there to answer that call.
You see how long the deployment was?
We don't have a specific end date at this time. Tentatively, we're looking at a 9-day deployment for our troopers, and that could change depending on various factors, depending on what the situation is as we get down there. Again, that is constantly being reassessed with our partners at Texas Department of Public Safety and the Texas Rangers that are on scene, depending on what they need and where they need us to be.
Now, I understand that you're also going with K-9 units from ODNR. Are you coordinating with them as well?
We are. They will be on a deployment alongside of us. We hope to be embedded with them as we continue the search and rescue operation.
Will they be under your command?
We'll be working in conjunction with one another. I'll be in close contact through their chain of command to make sure that we're all in sync. And again, about the coordination and communication, it goes with us, ODNR, and our state and local partners down in Texas.
And is this something unprecedented, or have our troopers dealt with something similar before?
We've been deployed in a variety of circumstances throughout my career. I can remember being deployed. We had troopers down after Hurricane Katrina. So we have been in these types of situations. Every one of them is unique, and I don't want to compare one to another. Again, it's heartbreaking, and our hearts and minds go out to those affected in the Texas communities.
In your career, I mean, in terms of natural disaster assignments, is this the only other one, this Katrina, that you remember your bureau going for?
No, sir. We've done several. We've even had them in state. If you remember last year, we had a tornado outbreak in the western part of the state, and our troopers were there on the front lines to help out our fellow Ohioans in that time as well.
Apologies if I missed this, but when do you leave again?
We are actually departing here within the hour.
From this location?
From here.
Okay. And are you all driving your trooper vehicles?
We try to be a good resource to the state of Ohio, so we carpool where we can. So we have vehicles that are designed to carry multiple officers, and we'll take a contingency of vehicles while minimizing the impact. And that's the other thing. When we show up somewhere, we don't want to take up their resources as well. So the smaller the footprint that we can while providing an adequate service is what we're going to aim for.
Obviously, it's a pretty long trip. When do you actually plan to start working on the ground there?
Our goal is to be operational by 6 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday.
What kinds of actual gear are you taking with you for this?
We have a lot of specialized equipment that we use from our mobile field force, which they get called first to respond to these kinds of incidents. So there's personal protective gear, so you think gloves. There's cutting tools in case we need to get through debris. And it's a lot of personal safety items because we don't want to add to casualties while we're down there. We need to make sure that our units are safe as well so that they can continue to provide that service and help where they can.
What is your biggest hope when you get there?
Our biggest hope is that we can bring calm to chaos and that we can provide closure and hope and hopefully reunification to the families that are impacted the most.
Thanks, Major.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Now another half hour.
Dan DeRose with 19 News. As we hear from the Ohio State Highway Patrol, the trooper that's in charge of the deployment and will be down in Texas, as you heard, they expect to be operational by Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. They're going to be leaving Columbus within the hour, and it is not only a dangerous mission, but hopefully, as you heard the trooper say, there is some hope there that this could be a rescue situation. on some level, but they know also on another level that this will be a recovery operation. Unfortunately, there are individuals that will not have survived that flash flood situation down in Texas. So just a part of Ohio helping out the rest of the nation. You heard the trooper say that is a source of pride, that this is not just about Ohio, it's not just about our local areas, but also where they can help throughout the nation. If we have any other breaking news, it'll be here on our digital platforms. We do expect an update from the Cleveland Police Department on the most recent street takeover, which happened last night or early this morning, of cars and motorcycles and illegal vehicles taking over. I believe it was the Cedar Lee area of Cleveland, and they'll have an update coming up at 2:30. So we will have that for you here on our digital properties. If we have any other breaking news, it'll be here on our digital properties. Otherwise, look for our 3.5 hours of news and first alert weather to begin at 3 o'clock on Channel 19. Until then, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News. Have a good afternoon.